Okay, so picture this. You start a company with basically zero outside money in a garage, and then just a few years later, you sell it for $97 million. And no, this isn't some Silicon Valley fairy tale. This is the real story of Go Viral. Today, we're going to break down exactly how they did it and how their journey pretty much rewrites the rulebook for building a business.
I mean, that's the question, right? It's the ultimate startup puzzle. And the way GoViral answered it, well, it's brilliant and totally unconventional. They didn't just follow a path, they had to carve out a brand new one. Let's dig in. All right, so here's the game plan for how we're going to walk through this story. First up, their, naughty beginnings and how they bootstrapped it. Then we'll get into the vision that changed everything. After that, we'll talk about this simple guarantee that just blew the doors off their growth. Then we'll cover this really neat deal they made, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with the big lessons you can take away from their massive exit.
All right, let's rewind the clock a bit. The year is 2003, and the co-founders, Klaus Moseholm and Baldur Ulrich, they looked at internet ads and thought, man, this is all just boring. Their whole idea was pretty simple, really. The answer wasn't just throwing more money at ads. It was about being more creative, making content so good that people couldn't help but share it.
So they had this great idea, but, no money. So they bootstrapped. And for a whole year, these guys were living a total double life. Corporate consultants during the day, startup founders by night. And every single dollar they made from those day jobs, it went straight back into their real passion, Go Viral.
So, okay, you've got no budget. How do you prove your idea actually works? Well, you make something that's just impossible to ignore. I mean, their first video was, let's just say it was provocative, a little shocking, and it got millions of views. And here's the crazy part. They did it for free, totally free, just to show people, hey, our model works.
And this timeline, man, it really shows you the grind. This was no overnight success. You can see that slow, steady climb, right? From doing free work in 2003 just to make a name for themselves to finally landing that first paying client in 2004. And then, 2005, that's when they stumbled onto the idea that would change the whole game.
Okay, so by 2005, Go Viral's doing pretty well. They're this cool little agency. But things were about to take a major turn. See, this guy, Jimmy Mayman, he joins the team and he doesn't just see a little agency. He sees a massive global platform.
And this was a huge moment for them. You have to remember the original founders, they were the creative guys. They loved making these amazing one-off campaigns. But Jimmy, he came in with a totally different mindset. He was thinking bigger. How do we take this custom one-at-a-time service and turn it into a product that can scale everywhere? And this slide really breaks down the heart of that pivot. So on the left, that's the old agency model they were in. It's tough to scale, right? Because to grow, you just have to keep hiring more people. But on the right, that's Jimmy's vision, a platform, something that uses tech to serve tons of clients at once. That's how you get a high-margin business that can just explode in growth. So to make this new vision real, Jimmy throws out this absolutely wild goal. We're going to build a 10 million pound company. Now, that might sound ambitious today, but you got to remember, at that time, their revenue was just 100,000 pounds. 100,000! That's a 100x goal. It's insane. Even one of the co-founders, Klaus, said it sounded a little bit outrageous. But you know what? That one number, that crazy goal, it became their North Star.
So having a big vision is great and all, but how do you actually sell it to people? They needed a breakthrough. And funnily enough, it didn't come from some fancy new tech. It came from a really simple but incredibly powerful promise they started making to every single customer.
And this was their secret weapon. See, big advertisers, they were terrified of viral marketing. It was just too unpredictable. You never knew what you were going to get. Go Viral just stepped in and took all that risk off the table. They said, look, you give us a budget and we will guarantee you a specific number of views. All of a sudden, a marketing director could calculate a clear ROI. They could compare Go Viral directly to buying a TV ad. And the best part? If the video did better than the guarantee, all those extra views were just a free bonus for the client. That guarantee was rocket fuel. I mean, look at this. The growth was just explosive. They went from 100 grand in 2005 to 6 million by 2009. And then, get this, they doubled it again to 12 million in just one more year. That outrageous 10 million pound goal,
suddenly wasn't so outrageous anymore. All right, so it's 2009. The business is on fire. But then they hit a roadblock. It's a classic startup problem, really. One of the co-founders wanted out. He wanted to go do other things. And the problem was, the company was now worth millions, and the other founders just didn't have the cash to buy out his shares.
Okay, and this is where things get really, really clever. See, most startups, when they raise money, it's what you call primary capital. That money goes right into the company to help it grow. But GoViral didn't really need money for growth. They were already profitable. What they needed was secondary capital. That's money used to buy shares from an existing shareholder. So they found an investor, Connect Partners, not to fund the business itself, but to solve this very specific internal problem.
And the logic from this investor, it's just fascinating. They didn't just buy out the guy who was leaving. They actually insisted that the founders who were staying also sell a small piece of their shares. Why would they do that? Well, in their words, it was to de-risk them personally. The idea was, if you let the founders put a few million in their own bank accounts, it takes away that fear, that personal financial anxiety. It frees them up to stop playing it safe and start taking the big, bold risks you need to take to get a massive exit.
I mean, just think about the psychology of that for a second. Suddenly, their families are financially secure. They're not playing defense, worried about losing everything. They're playing offense. They're all in, totally aligned with their new investor, and more fired up than ever to go chase that huge goal.
And the results were, well, they were immediate. As soon as that shareholder problem was solved and the founders were de-risked, the company just hit the accelerator. Just 19 months later, not even 2 years after that clever deal, AOL comes in and buys them for $97 million.
Wow. So, what an incredible story. What can we actually learn from all this? What are the big takeaways for anyone out there trying to build something? When you really boil it down, the GoViral playbook has 5 key moves. 1. Bootstrap creatively. Use your clients' money, use your consulting gigs, whatever it takes. 2. Dare to pivot. Be willing to completely change from a service to a scalable product. 3. De-risk the sale. Make it a no-brainer for your customer. 4. Use capital strategically. It's not just for growth. It can be for aligning everyone on the team. And 5, and this is a big one, de-risk the founders. A little cash out can be the fuel for that final massive push.
So we're going to leave you with this one question to think about. The biggest leap GoViral ever took was when they realized they weren't really a service company. They were a product company, just in disguise. So you have to ask yourself, is your business just about selling your time? Or is there a scalable product hiding inside what you do, just waiting to be unlocked? Because as GoViral proved, answering that one question, well, it could be a $97 million answer.